on the tube of you. We're now live.
Is there a Q-tube?
Hey, YouTube.
There's a lot of tubes out there.
You know, the nice thing about YouTube is you do get a nice picture. Yeah, you really do.
It's very quality camera.
Wanted like another 10 seconds.
It is nice. And of course, YouTube, thanks for chiming in here with us on McHenry County BS. We'll be going live here in about 2 minutes and 44 seconds.
Oh, I'm so excited. Phil, are you excited?
Yes.
And now we are 3, 2, 1 live on Facebook. Facebook, hi. How are you?
Back. I'm so excited to be back.
Yeah, good to have you back. It was a little weird. Yeah, the last
Where'd you go?
I was in Florida. I don't know if you know this.
Oh, no, I didn't know that at all.
No, you didn't see our post on Facebook?
I didn't see a presentation either that you made.
My 13-minute video.
Right.
Here's a couple photos of my month in Florida.
That's it.
Oh, man. It was good, though, because I got to practice video editing. That's the whole purpose. It wasn't vain at all.
Not at all.
So
well, you weren't in them.
I wasn't in them.
No,
it was my kids.
You were producing and shooting.
I was producing and shooting.
Yeah.
Well, Travis is an actor now.
He's an actor.
He is. That is so cool.
I'm building an IMDb page for him.
That is so cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. He's like, finally something about me.
Yeah, that is awesome.
And then the focus back on the baby.
That's right. That's right. Absolutely.
Good for him. That's exciting. Now he'll be a thespian.
Yes.
Is that how you pronounce it?
That's right. That is how you do it. That is gorgeous. All right. Hey.
All right.
Just wanted to say welcome. We're going live here in about a minute. We just thought we'd chime in a little bit early, give you a little back scene, see what happens, off camera. But now you're on camera, so you're not really off camera. So this is what happens on camera, but before the show.
Me?
Cheese, crackers. Yeah, I'll take a piece.
I mean, we've really kind of upgraded. I'll have a piece of meat.
Would you like wet meat?
I can either have the dry turkey or the wet ham.
No green room today due to some construction. So the green room tray is here.
This is a platter unlike any other radio show I've ever been on.
It is. All right, we're going live in 30 seconds. Quiet on the set. Welcome to McHenry County BS, where we love the BS. I'm Kent Jones with 216 The Net, and McHenry County BS is all about the small businesses that make McHenry County thrive. McHenry County BS is brought to you through the financial support of Prime Media Consulting, LLC. For more information about Prime Media Consulting, LLC, visit www.primemediaconsulting.com or give them a call at 847-752-0018. Now, let's dive into the BS. Business Spotlight, that is. Also, want to just include Wella Financial. Wella Financial, again, another supporter of the show. And you can check them out at wellafinancial.com. But glad to have them with us. And, of course, for all of the guests, Wella Financial is offering a complimentary free, that's the same word,
complimentary and free.
Yeah.
We discount the complimentary, but give it to you for free.
Business valuation, which is great. So usually a cost of something. That's what I know. More something. Of course, today we have Phil Pace. Phil Pace from Pace Insurance and Financial Services, right up the road in Spring Grove.
Fact.
And we are excited to have him with us. Phil, tell us a little bit about Pace Insurance and Financial.
So Pace Insurance Financial Services, offering everything for your home and auto, commercial insurance, life insurance, financial investing, retirement, really all in one house.
Health insurance,
health share. So a lot of different alternative short-term health care, all within one house. So again, if I'm not the specialist in one thing, we have two other great agents able to help out. And that's my belt.
That's your belt.
Yeah. Nice.
As of today.
For the listeners, we have a group called Prime Power Partners. It's our own networking group, and our MVP of the month gets the $1 million belt.
belt, baby.
And Phil Pace was the winner for the month of October. So
Best beard in the group.
best beard in the group. Well, that's debatable.
Longest beard in the group.
Longest.
beard
We'll
in the
go with
group.
that.
Longest beard of the group. So tell me something. How did you get started in your business? What made you make the decision to go from where you were before, which we can kind of get into that a little bit, to now being a business owner?
So a lifetime of jobs, learning what not to do, helped prepare me for a job, what I wanted to do. I had a lot of great managers here and there, but what really stuck with me is what I didn't like. Working for certain people, whether they manage differently or the critique or constantly chasing a different goal and chasing a carrot that can never really be achieved. So you did great,
Right.
but you got to always do something different. And it's never really satisfying.
Right.
So that's kind of where the entrepreneur and the business owner side of it came in. And I was lucky enough to have a job where I can do nights and weekends.
What do I
In
do
the
with my
middle.
hands?
Yeah, I told you I didn't know what to do with my hands. So a job I had nights and weekends free to start growing my agency and really kind of focus on what I wanted to do moving forward.
Yep.
So what were some of the hurdles that you had when you got started then?
The biggest thing is time management. Again, working in a full-time job, just had our first child. Time management was a big thing. I had to be home, had to live up to my commitments at the other job while still trying to learn and grow that. So that was a big part of it. Marketing, luckily, the whole time I was starting the agency, I was working with Alex and talking with him about what has worked, what hasn't worked. And then I'd say the biggest hurdle is just developing the confidence that I knew what I was doing and what was best for my business, not just taking what people were telling me. This is how you do it. This is the way it always works.
Right.
These are the steps you have to follow. Join this, pay that. That was the biggest part. I think the biggest hurdle, because you're just like, oh, well, you've been here longer. Let me just give you the money so I can get to where you're at.
I think a lot of people that are just getting out in their business are just thinking about, hey, I'm going to do this on my own. They reach out to their friends and their family and everyone else will be like, all right, how do I get started? And they say, all right, well, first thing you need to do, you need to join the chamber. You need to join this networking group. You need to do this. And you've done pretty much all that, right? I mean, you figured out over the course of 5 years now, 6 years now in business of what's been working for you, maybe what you might have wasted some money on and where you've we're really zoning in on your type of clientele or your type of market.
Yeah. I mean, I think from the get-go, as you started Prime Media and I started my agency, there was never really a book. I'm sure there is, but there's never really a book on how to start a small business.
Right.
So you just go off of what you've seen or heard or what you might have learned from something online or reading a book a long time ago. And it was always join the local community things, take part of this networking event, join a BNI, join a LTIP, throw money at this. And that's what it became for me, was just throw money at these different things. And when you start, you're like, okay, I'm going to give it 6 months. I'm going to give it a year. If it doesn't work out, I cancel it. Well, there's a lot of things I've canceled in the last 5 years that didn't work out for me, and that's just the learning process. Without it, I probably learned best by screwing up a couple of times. So learned a lot.
So I want to go back to your time management, because for a lot of entrepreneurs, we go from working for somebody to working for ourselves. And when we work for somebody, you usually punch the clock. So, hey, you have to be here ready to work at 8, you get lunch at noon, and then you're out of here at 4 or whatever. Yeah. Right. And so that's one of the biggest hurdles, I think, for a lot of entrepreneurs is now all of a sudden, I don't have to be in at 8.
I can go to a movie at 11 o'clock if I want to.
Right. Yeah, you're a bad example.
I'm a pretty bad example. Hey, but I bring my laptop to work. I make it a home office.
That's right. But you know what I mean? And obviously you've worked out once or twice, but so it's instead of maybe going
long time ago,
maybe going to the movie, it was, get up at about 9 or 10. Yeah. Or golfing.
Yeah, I deserve that.
Yeah.
I worked hard
So what were some of the paces pun intended, that you had to put yourself through to really learn that time management? Because again, you were working full time. Yeah, you're a husband full time, kid, dad full time, and now you're business.
Yeah, it was hard because I don't want to say no to anything. So that was the biggest problem: figuring out what I needed to focus on and say yes to and commit to, and what I was just fluff and just wasting time. So the time management, again, when you already have a job, you have to figure out, how can I get out on a lunch? How can I maximize my time on the road? If I have an appointment here, let's try to get 2.
Right.
And again, that takes time. That's not right
Yeah.
off the bat. What really helps is, like, now I have 2 great agents helping me out at the agency. So I can come here. I can talk with you guys. I can go do presentations. That really helped opening things up
Sure.
for my time. Now, should I be home more? Definitely. Can I? Not right now. I got to focus on this.
Right.
So
It's a hard trade-off.
certain things had to, I'm sure my wife will admit to it. Certain things I had to not
Right.
be there for as much, so that we can get this going.
Right.
Right.
And then that bleeds into the time strain
Mhm.
that clubs, that chambers, that, there's all these
Activities.
things,
Yeah,
activities.
The problem with a lot of small business owners is that they're taught, like, you got to be part of these. So it's the fear of the unknown of what I'm missing.
Mhm.
If I'm not a part of this group, what are they all getting from it? Because we're all together every week. Is it working?
Yeah.
Well, then you come to find out, well, sometimes it's just they're there because now it's become a social club,
yeah.
and it's not something that's actually generating revenue.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Your
right.
ROI is not
So
good,
so that was the biggest thing that we've talked about in the past is, what's a service business activity versus a business generation activity?
Is he just resting his meat on the table?
I am resting my meat on the
Oh
table.
my god.
I
At
was,
least put it on a cracker.
I muted our mics. Yours wasn't.
So service-based versus business-driven. I say in the beginning, it was just completely
It's gonna
counterproductive.
build the sandwich.
Are you building a meat sandwich?
Yep.
Oh, there it is.
Go ahead.
So in the beginning, it was very counterproductive, because as a new business owner, you have to generate new business. You have to
Yes.
service that new business. You have to build those relationships, and
Right.
you're only one person.
Right.
So it's really hard to meet those expectations
Yeah.
and build those relationships when it's just you.
Right.
I'd say this year's changed drastically. Like I mentioned, we got 2 new guys in the office, or Sean's been with us for over a year
Yeah.
now. So that's helped out with me delegating that, so that they could do a little bit more on the service side, and I could do more on the business generating, whether it's doing speaking engagements or putting on lunch and learns, and,
Right.
and whatever the case is, where you're the expert in front of a room answering questions, helping. That's been the biggest change this year, to help drive to business
Yeah.
generating versus just service, because there's always
a group you
Right.
could be part of. There's always an organization you could support.
and,
you know, but
and you got to
what's
look back and see, okay, well, what's the return? Maybe I'm giving my time, but if there's no return in dollars or growth or education, I've just wasted my time when I couldn't have been
Right.
with my family.
And that's not to say that all service activities or
No.
all organizations are bad. You just got to
Right.
make a decision of, where are you at in your moment right now? Are you at I need business right now? I need cash flow coming in.
Mhm.
So do I need to let go of some of these organizations that maybe I put money in, or maybe I did it for free? I just want to be a part of,
Even if
because
there's
it's
a lot
not
of-
making me money.
Yeah, a lot of it was time you're putting in. You're
Yeah.
setting up a booth, you're outside for an event, you're this and that.
Right.
It really dawned and hit home last year. We're out at an event in the middle of summer. It's hot. It's just me at this tent. My kids and my wife are at home at the pool or wherever. No one's stopping by the tent. I'm like, well, this is silly. I'm not going to sit here for another 2 or 3 hours when I could just be home.
But what
And that was the last event.
but where they get you is, well, what about the next event that you couldn't have been on? You could have been part of. You could have missed out on.
Could
It's
have.
the fear of the unknown of the business owner that kind of drives some sort of activity that doesn't maybe ever generate something, but it's the, what if I lose it?
Yeah.
And we're all driven by fear, especially as a small business owner.
Absolutely.
We're afraid of missing what we have, and sometimes we're just gonna be like, F it. I'm just gonna let go.
And I think that's what I said at the beginning too. It's developing the confidence in yourself that you know what's right for you and the business. If I'm going to be somewhere I don't want to be, unfortunately, I'm a child, and you're going to be able to read it on my face, which is going to impact people coming up or talking about it
Right.
and growing the business anyway. So it's counterproductive at that point.
Right.
Let's focus on finding someone that might be better in that situation and putting them out there for us.
Okay.
And so I can go focus on something else too.
Okay.
So the tough decision then came when you said, all right, I don't have time, or it's not a return on investment for this club, this chamber, or whatever. And when I say that, you were a strong player. I mean, they were looking at you as being a president of a chamber, right? Or the board of one, or whatever
Yeah,
the
I'm
case
board
may
of
be, right?
directors. Yeah.
And
again, this isn't to bashing.
no.
Yeah.
But these are the tough decisions, and I'm glad we have you here. These are the tough decisions that small businesses go through on a daily basis. You were a player, and then you had to say, "Hey, I have to step out.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm not coming back next year.
Yeah.
That's a tough thing for it's incredibly hard for a small business owner to do because now
what happened?
Yeah.
Is everything okay with this business?
Yeah. And it wasn't anything wrong. I just had to reevaluate priorities. Again, 3 kids now, a growing business. I wanted to focus on that. That's what pays the bills. Unfortunately, not me always volunteering.
Right.
And it's not just volunteering with chambers and events. We constantly get calls from different organizations for, can you donate money to this? Can you donate money to that? In the beginning, you throw money at it. You're like, I want to do
insurance guys have deep pockets.
Yeah. Oh,
You're making
I have $1 million belt.
That's
Yeah.
right.
I didn't get that for free.
Do you know
Defense
how
restaurant.
big his duffel bag is at his office of $100 bills?
I got a picture of it if you want to see it.
$180,000 of $100 bills.
Only took me $150 of real dollars to get it.
That's nice.
So, but yeah,
That's a good bet.
It's constantly the feeling of internal, like I feel bad. I can't donate. Oh, you're a bad person because you didn't donate to this organization to help this.
Right.
And
you got 18 more calls coming that week about donating to
and
something.
I kind of flip it on them now. I'm like, oh, well, I would like to take my kids on vacation. I'm collecting money for the PACE agency. Would you like to donate?
What?
Well, it's the same thing. You're asking for me to donate. You've got a tax-paying job. Like, what's the difference with me asking if I can get that?
Right.
Kind of caught off guard of all of it. And again, you want to donate, but
well, it's like I have White Sox tickets, and so I know and we don't have a lot of White Sox fans up in the north.
I'm a
side
White
here.
Sox fan.
But I get, when I post to try and sell our White Sox tickets, you know, who wants to buy them, I get probably 300 requests to, hey, do you mind donating one?
Yeah.
Right.
For charity, for this charity, for that charity.
and I bet at the beginning you were like,
I might consider it. Yeah,
it makes
absolutely.
me feel good, the warm and fuzzies, but
Yeah.
I can't buy dinner with warm and fuzzies.
Right, but I
Yeah.
mean, you buy them to sell them too, unless you're going to the game, and
Yeah.
it's like, you know, first of all, I got 300 requests. I only have 81 tickets. How am I supposed to make money on it? But I'm the jerk if I say no to somebody
Right.
if we're trying to ask for.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
in their mind, their cause is the best, and we have to support their cause. Otherwise, we're the jerk.
Mm-hmm.
So, but let me ask you a question, because we'll get back to business. So, you started your business. You kind of pulled away. I'm no longer going to do the other gig. This is going to be my full-time job. I'm doing it myself. What was the first impression when you started your business, either with yourself or in the marketplace?
I think the first feeling was just insecure at first because you have everyone telling you what to do. Like you said, how to spend your money, not just from a networking standpoint, but like for the insurance industry, like this is how we do it. You pay for these leads, you do this mailers, set up these campaigns.
You got to send Logan his 1-year-old birthday card, right? You got to send Jenna her 30th birthday card or whatever it is.
Exactly. And they are nice in theory,
Nice touches.
but they don't make it inside the house. So it was things like that at first. You're just so insecure to say no that you just do it. So you spend so much money on the front end just to make a hard lesson and learn that let's pull back at that. Just throwing money at things isn't gonna make it.
Right.
The pride of actually saying, I don't know what I don't know is a hard thing for a small business owner to just basically work with.
Exactly. And what works for one business isn't always going to work for another business. What works for how you can communicate with someone might not work with how I communicate with someone.
Right.
As where I might use humor, someone else is more serious. Everyone's different.
Right.
So just feeling comfortable in your own skin.
You're funnier than I am. I'm
Definitely.
I'm more of a jerk than you are.
A little bit.
Yeah. but somehow there's got to be a way that I could take some of your funny and rub it into my business, and you could take more of the aggressiveness that I have,
Definitely,
and figure out how that can work for you. Because you got to take a little bit from every other business owner that you work with, because they wouldn't be successful if they didn't have their own way. You just got to figure out how that minefield worked for them and how you can kind of plug into it a little bit.
Definitely.
So the guy to my right, your left, if you're looking on Facebook, and it depends on if you're in front of the radio or computer or behind it, but that's Phil Pace from Pace Insurance and Financial Services. If they want to know more about what you do or get in touch with you, how do they do that?
So Facebook, Pace Insurance, Financial Services. We also have the website, Pace Insurance and Financial Services. Whether it's phone call, chat, email, give us a call at 815-675-0990.
Now, what's cool is that you've actually adapted to a lot of technology, right? You made it so it's super simple for anyone to really contact you, whether that's you built a website so they can email you, they can call, they can always call you, they can do that. But you've also made chat features where you can just chat with Phil or chat with one of your employees about, issues or questions just to get kind of answers, because in today's world, we have to be accommodating for the way people search. We have to be accommodating for the way people communicate.
Yeah.
And not a lot of businesses are actually adopting that strategy. It's still I'm waiting for my email. I'm waiting for my call. You're saying, hey, we're going to find you. However we can get you, we want to talk to you.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not by my computer right now, but even though I'm on the radio, I still have my phone here.
Yeah.
So when you message someone,
Please don't answer a call.
I can't.
Long time listener.
So it's easy to text back, call, email, because even Facebook, you can message right through there. So I always have my phone on me. I don't always have my office line. I don't always have my computer.
Right.
So it's very easy for us to kind of go back and forth and communicate.
So how has your business evolved in the last 5 years?
Yeah.
So I like headaches and stress. So in the beginning,
you beat your head on the wall.
Yeah. So I like to do things the hard way. So at first you become an agent, you're like, okay, I sell home and auto insurance. Everyone needs it, but it's not always the right fit. Different carriers have different markets. So
you mean that people might not switch if they're friends and family either?
Yeah, especially if they're friends and family.
Right.
They're sometimes the hardest ones.
It's always the ones that say, let's get them all first, right?
Yeah.
You get them and then you're just golden.
Yeah,
you're gonna do so well at that. Oh, great! I've got somebody.
Yeah,
I'll save $8 by going to this guy instead of you that I've known for 20 years.
Right. So that was the hardest part. Is just okay. What now? So after the home and auto, and I decided to go full time. We're building the agency in Spring Grove. And I was like, okay, let's learn more about the commercial side of things. How do I work with small business owners? Because I've always worked B2B, so I figured it'd be another good fit.
Right.
And then we had my second daughter. And so that was the next headache, or not headache, but stress.
Well, I mean, yeah,
it's a busy house.
Yeah.
She's still.
So after that 6 months, I was like, what else do I need? What do clients keep asking? And that was retirement investment advice. So I got my securities license.
Right.
So that again progressed to where now we're doing home and auto, commercial, always done life insurance, but also now the financial side.
Right.
And the most recent part is healthcare. Been licensed from the beginning, but I've had so many clients ask, and I refer out quite a bit. I'm like, okay, well, how can we help? So I can better educate myself or clients if they have it, and still give educated referrals out. If there's something beyond my scope of work.
So the other great thing about PACE insurance and financial services is the growing trend in that industry are what I call powerhouses now. It's probably called something else, but you got a agent who's been successful, and they fill a storefront with phone callers and answerers, and they bring them, and it really takes the personal piece out of it. Right. So I'm talking to Jimmy when Sue is my agent or whatever, and I may meet Sue, I may not, maybe at the paper signings or whatever, but chances are I may not ever know who Sue is.
I still don't know whose family is in America.
That's right.
Well, whose farm I'm stating.
Yeah, whose farm am I stating? But the great thing is the way that you run your business is you're like, hey, come on in, and let's talk. And there's no sales pitch. It's I want to help you understand this industry, because it is a changing industry. The laws, everything is crazy now, and you stay on top of it. But I love how you're like, here, come on in. Let's just sit and talk.
Yeah.
And when you leave, you're going to be more educated, and you're going to be able to make a better decision for you and your family.
And I wasn't even aware I was doing that until you brought it up to me one week. Like, well, you do stand out. You do want to help people. And I was just natural. I wasn't even aware of that was so it, but true. I just took it as myself. I hate being sold. So if once I hear feel, felt, found, or all these other sales pitches, my brain tunes out, and I'm staring, counting lights in the ceiling, or listening to the different sounds outside. So if I can't help, I can't help, but at least I can give you maybe some advice or point you in the direction of someone who can help, whether it's the healthcare, Medicare side, or
you also see in whether this is insurance owners or people that work for insurance, they care about the commission, because yes, there is commission when it comes to
you got to feed the family.
And if I can put you in a policy like a cancer policy or whatever, or something that gets
long-term care.
I can get more commission on it. That's when I'm going to go to, because that makes me more money.
Yeah.
And what's cool about PACE Insurance is that the guys that work for you and yourself, I mean, you guys have fundamentally said, I don't really care about the commission. The commission is going to come.
Yeah.
Right? We're going to get business because we're doing what's right. And you put them in the best program that's for them. That's not necessarily because it's going to make pay. You've told me that you make nothing on certain policies, but it's just what's best for them.
Mm-hmm.
You might make $1 on something, but it's what's best for them.
Yeah, I mean, I made a joke about I like headaches and stress, but if I can avoid that at all costs, I will. So we'll avoid that by giving you the right product and putting you in the right thing right off the bat, getting you the right coverage. If something else is needed, I'll bring it up. At the end of the day, it's going to be your call if we add it, but at least I've said it. And if I think it's extra and you probably come back down, a lot of people aren't even aware because it's only something they look at once a year, maybe once a year.
Yeah.
And things constantly change, whether jobs change, whether markets change, whether kids are leaving the house and now you don't have as much. They're just simple conversations to have. It shouldn't be where everyone's on guard when you have to sit down and talk to your insurance agent. It's like, oh, what are they going to sell me this time, or what are they going to ask? Well, I ask a lot of questions, but if it doesn't fit, there's no reason to go into it. If you want to learn about it, let's learn. But
so how do people learn about you? How do you market yourself?
Yeah. Outside of word of mouth. We all know, right? Oh,
yeah. I got a great presence.
Yeah, I read real good on first impressions. So
right.
I give horrible first.
I think at the beginning, it was all traditional stuff. Your direct mailers, your online quoting systems where you're paying for these leads to come in. For people who are just price shopping. So they're not going to be clients. They're going to be a quick customer. Your rate might go up and they're going to leave.
And meanwhile, they're probably getting 7 quotes from that one submission.
Exactly. And you didn't know any better, but as time evolved and having other agents in the office to help pick up the slack and allow me to come out doing speaking engagements, joining different groups that have a strong presence in referrals has really made the difference of what happened from 2015 to 2019 and 2019 to 2020. I'm genuinely looking forward to it because things have been improving so much, even in tough markets.
You even said you helped me create Prime Power Partners, right?
Mm-hmm.
You and Eric from Eater Cassell Technology helped kind of build this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's a nice plug there.
What we said, sorry, that's a free plug.
Eric better be listening.
That's right. So with that, it's something where we designed this thing for the sole purpose of we've done everything before. We figured out what people love, what people hate about this. And so we built kind of our own little thing that hits. So we're getting business because that's why you're there. It shouldn't be a social club if you're that's what you're going for, right? Because I mean, you can go to different events. You can go to, I don't want to call individuals out, but you can go to certain events that they put on, and that is what it's going to be. I'm going there to hang out with my friends. That's what it is. If you're going there for the expectation, but if you're going to something because there's $1 associated to it, or your expectation is to get leads and you're not, you're going to get jaded very, very quickly.
And that's kind of where where you started, and you keep going in, and you keep going in, and you keep going in, and you meet some people, and maybe in 4 years you get a referral, but you've said before, I need business now.
Right. Yeah.
I don't need business in 4 years. I need to figure out how I got to get it now.
Correct. You still have bills to pay after the building relationship. Yeah. The know, like, and trust model is great.
It's a slow play.
You could build
you could still do that in the background.
You can get a bunch of business, but meanwhile, you still have bills to pay. Your rent's still due. Your mortgage is still due.
Yeah.
You still got to have cash flow coming in. So you need that constant now business. And you can't rely on the know, like, and trust to get you when you need it now.
No. And I think surrounding yourself with other small business owners or people that have a similar mindset and they're hungry to grow. Because again, if I'm able to help you out in one way, and maybe you don't know how to help me out, but you know someone else who might have an internet radio show where I can just come on and blab.
Genius.
What are we doing today, Peaky?
Trying to take over the
world. But when you get 30 people like that in either really long existing successful companies and then others that have just started out, it's nice to hear everyone else's different approach, because maybe there's a different way of thinking of something. Because I'm trying to be open-minded, but at the same time, what I think first and right away is what I always think first right away, until you mention something, a different way to look at it, and I think, again, you kind of was the first question, how do you market yourself? I think that's what's changed. Is surrounding myself with other people that can similar and have a genuine and have a vested interest in seeing you succeed just as much as them.
And when I found out doing this show and hanging out with those small business owners. And I ask this every show, and I'll ask it now: is somewhere along the line in your life, somebody said something to you, or gave you a quote, or gave you a piece of advice. You weren't even looking for it, and you didn't even maybe own the business at that time, but you've held it with you all this time, and it seems to work out for you and your business. What's that?
What's that? So when I graduated college, I was managing and personal training in a gym, and I had a client who was a State Farm agent.
Okay.
Right out of Palatine. Great guy.
Good neighbor.
Great guy. And
Aaron Rodgers knows him.
Yeah.
And had him all the way up until I opened up my own agency. And I had the relationship with him for all these years that when I decided to become an agent, he was the first one I called asking if that would be, something worthwhile to get into. He's like, I think it's a great idea. Let me know what we can do to help. And I came into the office and I let him know. I was like, hey, I ended up doing it. I'm going to be switching my policies over to myself. Kind of seemed like a no-brainer.
Right.
And he 100% understood. And he was like, super supportive. Congratulations. This is awesome. You're not going to regret this. But keep this in mind. This is a marathon, not a race, not a sprint.
Right.
And I'm thinking, nah, I want a sprint.
Yeah.
I need that money now.
Because my brain is constantly thinking, okay,
Right.
let's get this, let's get this, let's get this. But
You have your goals.
yeah. But it takes slowing down and looking back 6 months or a year of, man, I got all this stuff to accomplish. I don't think I can do it. And all of a sudden, little bit by little bit, you take a little piece today, a little piece tomorrow, you've accomplished it and exceeded it. So again, keeping that in mind that it's not a sprint, it's a marathon has really stuck with me, not just in this business, but in other businesses and a lot of things.
Unless you're diagnosed with something, they give you a few weeks to live, then you got to run fast.
Yeah. If you
then it's a sprint.
You bet it all on black.
All on black.
You take out as many loans and you go
That's
gambling and
That's right.
Aerosmith.
Look at the boat I got. Yeah.
But you started in this before you had employees. You did it all
Yeah.
alone, right?
Oh, yeah.
Right. So you've done it all alone for almost 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And
last year.
right. And so now, how do you focus doing it all on your own? Because we have the people that watch this show are a lot of small business entrepreneurs.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
maybe they're fortunate to have some employees.
Yeah.
But for the most part, they're solopreneurs.
Just want to give a quick shout out to the 4 people.
That's right.
No, I'm kidding. Thanks,
but-
Mom.
but the idea behind that though is how did you focus on all alone? And not only that, you have competition, right?
Yeah.
You're not all yourself.
Mhm.
And unfortunately in insurance, kind of like real estate, it's kind of a dime a dozen.
Yeah.
You could throw a stone and find 3 insurance agents.
There's one right now.
There's one literally 2 doors
Down the hall.
here.
Yeah, right around
Right.
the corner.
So how do you keep an eye on your competition
Mhm.
to kind of see what they're doing? And how do you kind of do everything yourself?
So doing it all myself wasn't the problem. It was delegating once I had great agents in the
Being
office
able to let
to
go.
do other things.
Yeah.
And that took a while for me to personally grow into because I'd rather just do it myself. I'm not always going to do it right, but it'll get done.
Right.
And that was always my mindset. So when I transitioned over to doing this, it wasn't difficult for me to go grocery shopping, clean the groceries, cook the meal, serve the meal, and clean the dishes. I was used to that. That was always, I'll do it and I'll do it quicker.
Right.
So my hard part was transitioning to now I have 2 great guys I can lean on. How do I do that?
Giving up the control is
It's scary.
incredibly hard
It
because you're relying. What I've talked to Kent about this before
Yep.
is that you're relying on someone that is your baby to give a piece of your baby to somebody
Mhm.
else who they don't necessarily have the same goals or aspirations that
Mhm.
you do. Maybe sometimes it's just a means to an end as to why they're there.
Yeah.
But you're entrusting them with the baby to give you as much as they can for that.
Mhm.
And you can do better with it if you did it yourself because it's your baby, but you don't have the time to do it
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah. So with the time, then you're rushing it. So it's not doing the same quality as you were before. So that was the biggest part, just transitioning to delegating.
Right.
As far as competition, I don't worry about it. There's so many things in insurance outside of my control.
Right.
I have zero control over the rate. All I can control is myself and the guys in the office.
They think that you have some mystery control over.
Yeah,
how they
actually
raise-
we do. We have a little wheel and I put all the clients' names on it and I spin it and I throw darts and those are the ones that go up 15 or 20%. But that's not the case. So I can't sit here and worry about what is this guy down the street going to be doing? What are we going to do? All I can do is focus on what we're doing. Competition's always there, but I'm in more competition with myself trying to get the agency to grow each year than what the guy down the street's doing, the girl next door. It doesn't matter.
Right.
Because I don't have control. If I built a product and sold that product, then I have a little bit more control over competition
Right.
with price
Right.
and then, where we can get it out in the market. But I don't. so I have to be available to whoever needs it at that time. So be reactive, but also have to be proactive in getting the name out there and building that awareness.
Speaking of getting the name out there, that is Phil Pace from Pace Insurance and Financial Services. Folks want to get in touch with you. How do they do that?
Carrier pigeon
That's
to
it.
2503 Spring Ridge Drive, Suite C2. I'll leave the door open for it. Or Facebook, Pace Insurance, Financial Services, and www.paceinsuranceandfinancialservices.com.
What about a phone number? Do you have a phone number too?
911
Yeah.
is not the number.
Yeah.
815-675-0990.
So you said something interesting about how you don't have control over the rates.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have control over anything really outside of your
Effort.
customer service and effort. How do you handle a situation that goes sour? Like maybe they don't have the insurance that they thought they had,
Mhm.
or maybe you're talking to somebody who's with another provider and they think they have everything they're covered, but they're really not.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'm giving you another scenario of what happens if they need to file a claim and because they didn't want to spend the extra $18 to put this little rider on it. Now they got burned by their own stupidity, but it falls back on you as the agent, because there's that we don't hear that very often.
No, and everyone will say don't take it personal, but
You do.
I do. If someone's mad at me, I take it personally. Like, unfortunately, I'll take it home and I'll be grumpy and sad about it, and I want to make sure everyone's done right and not done wrong.
Right.
But I can't control everything. So what we'll try to do is head everything off right at the end. Like I said, you give them the option. It's your call if you add this or don't. Not every claim, just because a neighbor got a new roof, doesn't mean you're going to get a new roof. Everything's different, from materials to the
I
weather.
just got a new roof. Why can't my friend get one?
And again, that's another thing out of my control, but we'll get stuck as the middleman or the bad guy because we're the one communicating with the client. So all I got to try and do is just, again, understand that they're frustrated,
Right?
because I would be the same way.
Yeah.
Try to smile about it and really head it off at the beginning and not an end. So when there is a claim and it's not handled, yeah, I kind of thought that.
Yeah.
So negative review. Luckily, haven't had too many of them.
That's what.
Got it. So we haven't had too many of them. But again, if you if you head it off at the beginning, it's not really an issue. So I haven't had.
Yeah, that's. I mean,
water under the bridge on that.
But that again goes back to what I said a little bit ago. Is
Right.
that it's not about the sale for you. It's about I want to give you the best education you can, so you can make the best decision for you and your family.
Yeah.
And that's why you're not getting that, because as I walked out of your office as well, I was like, man, okay, cool. And we're still in the decision process. But it's like, all right, now we're going with what we've learned,
Right.
And looking at other people and going, well, they're not telling us the same thing. This is interesting.
Why is Judy not telling me I need this policy,
Right.
but you are?
Yeah.
Why is this not in my? Why did Judy not sell this to me?
Yeah.
When you're telling me I absolutely need it.
And a lot of it's education. Maybe whether it's an agent or another business owner, maybe they just don't know that this option's available, or no one's taking the time, because a lot of people, it's in a rush. They commoditize insurance so much that you call and you save 15% by blah 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 in 5 seconds.
Right.
What they don't tell you is they might cancel coverages or lower things. Why you might need this over this. You have a brand new car, but you have state minimums. Yeah, we made your price point. You said you wanted to pay X dollars a month, and we hit that, but we didn't tell you what
you lost from it.
Yeah, and that's the worst part.
And what we learned is that the 15% you're saving by switching to them is because they got rid of all their customer service.
So much like with Wella Financial and you and your financial piece is with insurance and finance, there just isn't any education. We don't do it in the public schools. So my education on insurance and my education on finance is what my best friend Alex told me that he learned from his father-in-law, who learned it wherever, right? Or just made it up,
yeah,
right? Or the only piece of financial education that I get is in the 7th grade doing the stock market challenge.
Or I learned how to balance my budget,
right? My checkbook.
Right.
So when I come to you, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I have no idea, and all I can do is take what I've learned by reading an article on the internet or whatever. But here's what I do know: it's bad. Industry and financial planners and things like
They're
that.
all
Bad,
greedy.
bad,
They're all
greedy,
greedy people.
greedy. How do you overcome that?
I think that's hard, and that's definitely changed recently because the internet makes everyone the smartest idiot in the world.
Especially if you listen to 21.6 The Net.
Bunch of idiots. So you have all of this information, some of it true, some of it false, online, but it's up to you to decide what you believe.
Right.
So there's a lot of different schools of thought on investing, whether it's a Ramsey type thing or whether it's Grant Cardone saying spend all your money if you have
real estate.
So everyone's got something different, but everyone also has a different preference on how they like handling things. Maybe it's more conservative.
Yeah.
You know,
The
maybe
risk
it's not.
averse.
But until you sit down and talk with someone about it, you won't figure out where they feel most comfortable, because you can't just take everything and throw it in the same cookie cutter plan.
So
true.
true.
I graduated in 2004, and right away when you get your first 401k.
From where?
What?
What from graduate school?
The University of Whitewater.
All right.
But they don't tell you when you go to fill out your HR forms. Not everyone, some of them don't tell you that what you're actually investing in your 401k. They just ask what's your age, and they stick you in some target fund,
That's
which is
correct.
ridiculously conservative. So what's nice is to be able to sit down, and especially now working with a lot of people who are 20, 21 years old.
Those are benefit administrators. They're not HR.
But working with someone young and educating them right off the bat of the benefit of a Roth and showing them why the compounding interest over time.
One of the studio audience says it shocks her how many people don't think renter's insurance is important.
It's amazing. People think that because your landlord insures their home or their condo,
that your stuff is
safe. It's not safe from a liability standpoint. It's not safe from a personal property standpoint.
Let's say you're renting a townhouse.
Yeah.
And you have a party at your house. You have a bunch of people there. Obviously it's snowing right now in Chicagoland. There's ice on your front stoop. Who gets hurt?
Well, way to throw that tricky one.
Right.
There's no definite answer in insurance, but I know who doesn't have insurance, and that's the renter. So that's who they're going to go after first, and then they would probably try to sue the landlord, and then an association. And it's a long legal issue where it could have just been avoided because most renters' policies are a couple dollars a month.
Or you're at the party and someone's drinking too much and they put a hole in the wall. They break some stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, is that the landlord's problem or is that the tenant's problem? You know, there's a lot of nuances that you need to talk to your insurance provider to really know where am I covered. Like, it's smart to say, hey, I don't know what I don't know, right?
Yeah. Mary says, then the building burns down.
That's true. She's an anarchist.
That's right.
But I think you would agree. Every 6 months, every year, just like you should talk to your financial planner, just like you should talk to your marketing guy,
Right.
You should talk to your insurance agent and be like, all right, how do I cover in case it goes downhill?
That's right.
And even with business, we do this on a regular basis. Whenever you add employees, we'll make adjustments, you know, for workers' comp or payroll stuff, so that your policies stay in line with it. Because if you start falling behind, where you all of a sudden blow up and have like 15 employees in a claim, that's weird.
You're only paying for one.
Yeah, you're only paying for like two. I didn't know you had people in Florida or New York or anything like that. So keeping that open line of communication makes everything easier.
Right.
So that when something does come up, you already know exactly what's in place.
And just like your life changes. So there was one time I had 4 kids in the house. There was one time, sort of 6 people in the house. My life has changed now. 2 of them are out of the house. So as your life changes, nice. Thanks, Facebook. Friggin' friggers.
There's an error.
There was an error. But just like things change in your life, you got to maintain a good, healthy balance as well. Right?
Yeah, that's the hard part. I'm still working on that.
And people should, and that's why you need to talk with your insurance guy. It's why you need to talk with your financial planning team to make sure that you got it. You're okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Alex. I'll jump on live. You can talk to him. It's bad.
So I don't know what are we trying to do here.
Yeah, here we go.
Oh, we're back.
Yeah,
I got one pat on the back. This is the longest anyone's seen me not swear.
It is good.
Is it?
That's good. All right, so we're back. We're back on Facebook. Not sure what happened. Zuckerberg actually has a thing against us.
He
here,
did. He did not. He's a State Farm guy.
Yes, we are breaking Facebook. It's jerks. Anyway, I love Facebook. So it's you get upset at the free stuff. So what I was saying is that a good financial advisor, a good insurance. Here's what I got. You got to understand is those people should be working together.
Mm-hmm.
Right. They should be talking about yours. If you're not all in one house, like you have it all under one house, you're shooting yourself in the foot, because if your financial planner is going over here,
right,
and your insurance is going over here, and they're not growing together, then there's a problem.
Looking at things holistically, if your financial planner is doing one thing, or your rep and your life insurance is saying an opposite thing,
right,
and your income is saying something completely
different.
If anything did drastically happen to a family or you as an individual, things aren't matching up.
Right.
This money might be coming here, but it's getting taken away here or taxed there, or disappears and goes poof. So everyone's got to be on the same page.
And that's why you would suggest that how often should a typical family or a guy like me, hard worker, not that part. How often should they be in contact with their insurance people and their financial advisor?
In touch with, again, if things change, then more frequently. If you're constantly rotating different cars or have young kids now all of a sudden driving, a little more frequently, but at least once a year to go over, because again, with inflation, your home insurance is automatically going to adjust. Maybe it's out of whack. Maybe we got to check. When you see big increases, sometimes maybe a discount fell off or a new discount program came on to help out. So at least once a year. And on the financial side, everyone's different. I have some clients that we've gotten $500 invested, and they call me every other week when the market goes down, asking if they should stop. And I have other ones with a couple $100,000 where he just wants to talk at the end of the year. Yeah. So it all depends on everyone's preference. And luckily, I'm flexible enough to kind of meet that to where no one's kind of falling through the cracks.
My Roth IRA went down $18 this quarter, Phil.
Right.
Sure did.
It should.
But you're not going to get hurt unless you jump off the ride. So.
It's about time, time in, not right.
Yeah. But again, you read all these articles. There's so much misinformation online and on Facebook and social media of what to concern yourself with and be worried with, that the reality of things, you got to look, long picture type thing.
Yeah.
So if there's a ton of misinformation out there, what do you say to someone who's just getting started in your business? You're the
run. Yeah. No.
Try carpentry.
Yeah. There's a lot of people out there. Not everyone has your best interest in mind. So, I mean, kind of some of the things that came to mind is believing that all coaches or business development programs or even groups have your best interest in mind. Right. Because we touched on it. Everyone's a little different. How I talk, how I think is going to be different than how maybe a 60-year-old female might think and act and want to run their business. So it's all different based on that.
I made you a sandwich, by the way, Phil.
I'm not eating your sandwich that's been sitting there. All these groups may provide some value, but what I've learned is after throwing money away at them, it was more of a learning experience of what not to do than what did work. And without that trial and error, I couldn't sit here and be confident and say this worked, this didn't work, because I tried it. It just didn't work. For me.
It just didn't work.
There's no magic bullet or process. You constantly, no matter what your business is, I'm sure you get questions like, oh, hey, are you looking for more subscribers and more listeners?
Always.
Let's set up something off. It'll only cost $1,200 a month. Right. Or, oh, you want more website clients? Okay, what do we need to do? We can get you those clients. There's no magic. It really just takes time. And it sucks to hear because you want to jump ahead and sprint to the finish line. But
if I'm investing this, it better work for me. And sometimes that crapshoot doesn't pan out that way.
No. I read this and that. So when anyone starting out in financial insurance, there's no magic process. A lot of times you'll get advice from people who have been in the industry 20, 30 years. Yep. And what worked 20 or 30 years ago, slightly different now. Right. How they kind of marketed in their approach.
No one I can trust.
So let's see. What was another one I jotted down? You just have to continue to work hard. It's not
that's the big thing.
A lot of times I when I was younger, I always just blame that it was luck. Like when I worked with
I know.
Alex, I still swear to God, I think he has a horseshoe up his ass
They might.
half the time.
So
But over
judging
10
by the way
years
he
of being
walks,
friends
there's
with
something
him
up there.
and learning how much he's, how hard he works and how with the hours he puts into it, it's not luck. He put himself in those situations.
We used to work for a company where there was an incentive. Every incentive, I always maximized the dollar. I was always the number one person making the incentive dollars. He got so angry with me every single time. Like, you just got to figure out how to win the game.
That's it.
Then I figured it out. We went on vacation trips together.
That's
There
right.
you go. There you go.
So again, there's no luck in it. You just
Right.
have to stick
hard
with
work.
it, and the time you put into it
Right.
will pay back.
So what's the dumbest mistake you've made?
Yeah.
Whether it's business or
Spending an hour.
Dumbest thing I've done. Again, I think it'd be buying into these programs. When I started the agency, especially on Facebook, because from 2009 to 2015, I wasn't on Facebook at all, and it was awesome. I didn't know what anyone ate when they had a sad day,
right.
holidays,
Right.
or the snow, or now coyotes.
If they wanted
Yeah,
to talk
fans,
to
So
you,
it
they
was
talk
great.
to you.
Yeah, exactly. People would pick up the phone or we'd text and talk. So catching up to speed on Facebook and social media, you hear all these different things. I used Facebook to get these leads. I used paid advertising on Facebook to do it. I'm like, all right, well, what's the best way to do it? You pay someone to teach you.
Yeah.
$800 later, I got a couple articles that I could share every now and then on Facebook, but really nothing of value. But again, that was the lesson that you learn
Right.
a couple dollars later. And it's a lot with a lot of those different programs, paid leads. Those are, if I can count how much money we threw away for a couple months just to try to jump ahead and sprint,
Right.
it didn't work out.
Right.
Brutal.
I was there when you had that call with the rep. You're
Brutal.
like, oh, I didn't get anything from it. No, I literally didn't get anything
Yeah.
from it.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
And I get articles every month, but it didn't.
This
bring any
month's
value.
hot leads.
It didn't bring any value in sold policies, but it
Yeah.
did in education. So
And of course, we're always looking for good partners here at 21.6 and that. Good way to.
You just throw some money in and see what happens.
Yeah.
It's a good crapshoot.
It is. Always bet on black, which is it. If you, why insurance though? I mean, we didn't, you kind of said, hey, I went this way. It's not everybody's, that's not everybody's jam. I mean,
No.
why all of a sudden you went from the gym to, let me sell insurance.
yeah, so I definitely don't fit the typical mold.
Yeah, not so much.
You're wearing a pink shirt. You
Yeah,
look
right.
you look like a big overgrown Cam on
This
Modern
is the
Family.
this is, thanks. I thought Cam was the overgrown one.
He is overgrown. But that's a Cam shirt.
I think this is
Whoa.
the first time in probably a couple months that I've worn a button-down shirt. So
Yeah.
I tried to dress up for the internet.
Aww.
What got me from where I was at Johnson Controls to insurance, I had interviewed or had conversations with people from other companies, and they wanted to bring you in at the lowest level, pay you $19,000
Yeah.
and maybe some commission. And if you were good enough, then you might have an opportunity to run your own thing. And I got a different approach of, you have a current job that's paying your bills, your benefits, you're set. We'll help you get trained, licensed. You keep whatever you got. And after a year, if you still want to stick with it, great. We'll help you get the agency started. If you don't, you made a couple bucks, you learned a couple things. So
You dipped your toes in.
exactly. So I
Yeah.
went through a slow approach and doing it and not just jump in without any income.
Yeah.
It worked out really well for me because the job I had actually sold the division. So I got severance. They said, I'm sorry to me, as opposed to me being the bad guy.
Because you were at that point where you were ready to walk away anyway.
I had my office going for 4 months before they let me, they sold the division.
Wow.
Right.
So I played a game of free money. I show up, I do my job, you guys pay me, and then I come back to the office and do my own
Work
thing.
away.
double dipped.
So for a year and a half, I was kind of building this up. And on the insurance side, again, you do have the renewals, you have the relationships. I'm the person in charge, so I got to use a lot of what I'd learned not to do.
Mm-hmm.
And
how I wanted to
you're
do
a
things.
volume-based business. So
Yeah.
you need the volume to make a life
Yeah.
for yourself.
Yeah, it's not one and done.
Right. You're not selling a widget that's $15,000
No.
and then
Right.
you make your money on the majority of hundreds and thousands of policies
Yeah.
that accumulate into something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now it's not just the
Welcome back, Mary.
It's not just the insurance side, but also the financial side. You get a little piece for every bit that's invested, and you
Right.
help
Right.
people's investments grow. But it's all of that
Yeah.
combined that kind of generates all that.
So what's down the road? I mean, is this something you're going
Winter?
to your daughters are going to jump in and take over the agency?
That was what they again. That was something that was nice that I own it, so I
Yeah.
can sell it or give it to
Right.
a family member if that's what they want to do.
Right.
Who knows?
Do you want to pick up somebody else's book? Maybe be retiring and pick up another location, or
Are you selling your book of business right now?
Yeah.
Yeah,
For right
that's I wrote a policy
We
of
have full
myself.
policies.
for right now, it really is just
very short
growing
book.
this and kind of a legacy of.
Yeah.
I'm always going to something with. They told me I can't do it. I'm going to do it.
Prove me wrong.
Yeah, and even if it's only in my own head, I'm
Yep.
telling myself I can't do it, so I
Mhm.
need to prove it to myself that I could.
What's
And most people have not made it 5 years as self-employed.
Right.
I have. Now, am I where I want to be? No, and I'll never be because I always change that.
that?
Yeah.
That target
goal.
always moves.
It always ends. It's just an
Yeah.
empty hole of how much more I want to be able to contribute to my family and the business. So I'll
Well,
just keep going.
But I think why we've gotten along so well for over the 12, 13 years is that where we differ, you're more funny than I am. I'm more aggressive than you
Mhm.
are. But the cool thing is it doesn't matter your personality or where you are. It's what's your common goal.
Yeah.
What motivates you, what drives you. And if you can find people that you can build an army with and be like, hey, shackle arms together.
Let's go.
Let's go. Let's kill it. You know, that's all you need as a business owner. You need to find your 5, your 6, your 10 people,
Yeah.
your 20 people, and that snowball grows. Once you start building something,
Yeah.
people are going to turn their heads, be like, "What the hell are they doing?"
Because for the longest time, if you just surround yourself with negative people or people
Right.
are thinking
Yeah.
small, you think small. They think you're crazy because you thought of this other thing.
Right.
No one in my family ever started up their own business. So for me to step outside of that and take that risk,
That's amazing.
I got a pat
That's
on the
cool.
back. Let's go. You can do it. But it was also,
Well,
I
and-
wouldn't do that.
And in Dave Ramsey's book, which I know you're a Dave Ramsey
Mhm.
fan, is that he talks about monkeys, and they put a bunch of monkeys in a pyramid with some bananas on the top of
Yep.
a pail, right? And every time a monkey was climbing up, they sprayed him with water,
Ice cold water.
ice cold
Yeah,
water,
that's good.
shot him back down, right?
Mhm.
And they started swapping out monkeys from the pool, the sample, until there was no new monkeys that were.
Yeah.
Existing.
Existing monkeys that were in there. It was all new type. And every time a monkey was climbing up, the monkeys all pulled them down because they didn't know why. They just don't go that way.
Yep.
That's right.
And we do that in our lives too. We surround ourselves. We are who we are
Yeah.
by who we surround ourselves with,
Mhm.
right? And you could be hanging around really good people that just aren't doing anything.
Yeah.
And you have goals and aspirations. You need to be around people that are stretching your thinking
Yeah.
and not just saying yes, you're right, or if you're the best person in your group, that's the problem.
Yeah.
You need to find people that can challenge you, can stretch you. You may not like everything that comes with that, but at least
Right.
you're getting challenged.
If you can't find the weird one in your group,
It's
probably you.
Probably.
Right. So the interesting thing I think with Pace Insurance and financial services is I love the fact that you're satisfied being unsatisfied.
Mhm.
And that's a weird thing to say, but and Alex, you are too, and that's the way you guys run your business is hey, I can't 2019 is almost over. I've either hit my goal, I'm a little short of my goal or whatever, but I've made
There's a new goal.
There's a new goal.
Right.
And the toughest thing for all entrepreneurs, I think, is how you become comfortable being uncomfortable. And how do you deal with that voice in your head? You're upset. You're like, dang.
It's
you know?
hard because
Yeah.
part of you saying slow down,
Yeah.
be with your family.
Mhm.
Part of it's saying
This
Hey,
could all go away.
your call go away. Part of it's saying you're good. Take the day off, go
Right.
golf, and go see a movie. Go
Right.
do
You've
whatever.
earned it.
You've earned it,
Yeah.
right?
I've always joked that I was the worst boss because I go home a little early and it's, all right, what should I have done? What am I missing out because I'm not here? Is it another phone call that could have been this or that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm having a great time being here, slacking off, but I should have done more.
Luckily,
now I
we're-
have to go home with my head down.
Luckily, we're both blessed with really great wives who
Very understanding.
they're not only
true.
very understanding, but they're also they know our goals, they know our aspirations, and they're going to help you achieve it.
Push you.
They'll,
Yeah,
they'll,
it's a
they'll
great
take
partner.
care of some things that they need to take care of because they care about us enough
Yeah.
to make sure that we realize our own goals.
Yeah.
And so that's what's awesome.
So a mentor of mine, very, very good friend and mentor, my mentor, he always said, pick your six. I'm like, pick your six. I understand the police aspect of,
Cover your six.
cover your six.
Yeah.
But I go, I don't understand. And he goes, your six is, if you died today, what six people are going to carry your casket? Right. And that's who you surround yourselves with. I mean, there's no, you guys have had each other's back for years now. And it's obvious why you're as successful as you are. Cause there's that, hey, I've got you.
And we don't hang out personally.
No,
Like we're not best friends that hang out and go to dinner together.
yeah,
like-
bowling,
I
whatever.
do call him when I'm in the bathroom.
that's true.
So we're pretty good friends.
Yeah, that
But
is
like-
that close.
but like,
Little
you
toilet
know,
talk.
but what I'm saying is your six doesn't have to be the guys that you hang out with
Correct.
all the time.
Just someone who makes you better.
Yeah.
There's constantly things that I'll bounce off of him.
Yep.
And again, get his take on it, or just that little push of confidence of, don't listen to anyone, just go do it.
Yeah.
And like, all right.
Well, like you were saying before, like we were saying, I want to do something. I was like, oh, already done.
That's how my website started. I should really get this.
And that's and I think that's important for a lot of entrepreneurs as well, and business owners, especially small businesses. Have your goofy friends that you can be goofy with,
Right.
But understand when rubber meets the road, those are also the same people who are going to be like, "Told you, told you so, man."
Right.
But if you get a guy that you can confide in and push each other in business, I mean that's one of your six right there.
Right.
Absolutely. So we got about a
Very good.
minute left,
There you go,
Phil. If people wanted to touch base with you,
Just taste it.
how do they do that?
Again, website, Pace Insurance, financialservices.com. Facebook, Pace Insurance, financialservices.com. Facebook, Phil Pace. And
That's dead air.
And that's a good one.
Yeah.
Phone number?
Phone
The
number.
815-675-0990.
So would you like to Lady in the Tramp this with me?
We're gonna be bumping noses before we bite.
That's right.
I did watch that last night with the kids.
Yeah,
Oh,
Disney
you got
Plus
the
is
Disney
amazing,
channel.
right?
You
Yeah.
got the Disney thing, right?
Yeah, I'm surprised. I actually went to work yesterday.
Yeah.
Being a boss, I was like, I'm just going to stay home and watch Disney movies. No, but I went to work.
There you go. And of course, you've been listening to 216 Net. This is McHenry County BS, where you get the best out of your small business. Again, thanks Alex and Prime Media for the financial support. Thanks Wella, Travis McDonald and Wella Financial over in Woodstock for the financial support to make this show possible. If you got a small business, you want to get on the air, reach out to us. We'd love to have you. For all of us here at 216, that is it for us. Have an enjoyable day.
Do your own BS.
That's right.
Fuck. We had 35 people
That-
constantly.
That was a good one. Let me just get off the air on this.
That's
That was a real good one. That's gonna be. I was pissed when I saw. I go, what